Hello and welcome to the Vision Led Leadership Podcast. I am your host, Arin. I am a multi-passionate business owner in the wellness and healing space. And I am on a mission to remind you that your intuition is always guiding you to your divine purpose. You were born at this time for a very important reason, and the time is now to shine in your truth. On the show, we talk about listening to your intuition, cultivating a successful mindset, next level leadership, and conscious capitalism. If you're new here, welcome to the Vision Led Podcast. You're in the right place if you are a visionary leader ready to up-level your health and live in line with your true calling. Welcome to season 3. Today on the show, we are talking with Kelsey Larson. Kelsey is the creative director and lead designer at Saturday Designs, a boutique branding studio specializing in creating magnetic brands through human design. Welcome to the show, Kelsey.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
My pleasure. So we always start out with a few icebreaker questions because I like to feel like we are just having a cup of coffee together or a cup of tea, and the listeners are kind of eavesdropping on our conversation.
Okay.
So the first question is, what is your favorite hype song? So what I mean by this is you're about to go speak on stage, or maybe you're going to go meet with a client and you turn on some music to get you in the right space. What would it be?
That's a great question. It would probably be Beautiful Day by U2.
Oh, that's a great one.
I love that song, and I can listen to it so many times without getting sick of it. So, yeah.
That's a great one. Okay, so the next question is favorite snack.
Oh, man. Well, I'm a big eater. I love food. And so some might not consider this a snack, but sushi. Is that a snack? Can that be a
Sure,
snack?
yeah. Sushi's so great. So my husband and I we're 3 days into no gluten, no dairy, no sugar, and we're eating the zone diet, which means you always have to balance carbs to protein. It's kind of a lot of math and a lot of work, but he is determined to make sushi out of cauliflower rice.
Oh.
No, so I'll let you know, let everybody know how that goes.
Yeah, and you know what? If it falls apart, you can always just make like an impromptu poke bowl.
There you go. Totally.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Delicious.
I'll have to post the pictures on Instagram, so stay tuned for that. I keep trying to tell him that he needs to write a cookbook because he is like the best. Like he bakes the best dairy-free, gluten-free cupcakes. He's always inventing really cool ways to eat like super healthy. So I'll make him write a book one day.
Oh, yeah.
Last question is, you get to sit down for coffee or tea with anyone, alive or dead. Who do you choose?
That is a tough one, but I think it would be Ruth Bader Ginsburg would be who I would land on for sure. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. See, I love these questions because it tells us so much about you in a short amount of time. And I feel like I'm your friend now. So I hope that's okay.
Of course.
Tell us about the creation of your business. How did you merge human design with branding? It's such a cool concept.
Yeah, well, I'll try to make this as concise as possible. I always wanted to, since I can remember, I always wanted to go into fashion. And I never believed I was good enough to be a fashion designer. It's before I knew about limiting beliefs, and I just thought everything that I thought was the truth. And so I went into the fashion world through other means, so not creating anything original, and I loved it. I interned at Vogue in New York City, and it was amazing. It was just like The Devil Wears Prada. I was an intern, so I like literally did so much dirty work and would run through the city with trays of coffee while it was raining and all that stuff. And then my first job out of school was as an assistant buyer at Neiman Marcus in their corporate office. And so that ended up being so many spreadsheets and so much office work and very little creative work at all. There was no interaction with garments or designers or anything. It was numbers. And don't get me wrong, it was an amazing experience, but like my soul was longing for color and for shapes and for just creativeness. And so on the weekends, I started playing on my computer and like creating these fake businesses and creating logos for them and colors and like fake offers. And I didn't know anything about the business world, but I just needed some kind of outlet. And I'm not the best artist. And so like doing it digitally was easy. And then I would create these businesses, but I would never admit to myself that I had what it took to ever own my own business. And so I would like, no one would see these businesses, no one would see these websites. But in doing that, I ended up learning how to create websites. And so like some kind of fortuitous something happened and somebody that I knew needed a website. So I was like, I can do one for you. And so I did it and it was amazing. And so I kind of dabbled in that for a while, had one foot in the corporate world, one foot in the working for myself world, and then finally took the plunge and started my own website business. And that was really fun. And it still, though, was missing something because I felt like all of my work kind of looked like everybody else's. And so that's when I started to pull human design into it because I was using human design in my own life and it had really helped me with so many things personally. And that's when I realized like, hey, like brands are energy. Human design is energy. Like, is there some kind of connection here? And started playing with that. And then it really took off. It's like it's like a dog whistle. When people hear it, they know instantly if it's for them. And so it makes it easy on me too, because I'm not really the designer, like the universe is the designer. And I'm just the one who's kind of like unearthing everything and bringing it to light and then figuring out how to leverage that for really authentic brands.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I know a little bit about human design, but maybe some of our listeners don't. So would you give
Mhm.
us kind of a description of that?
Yeah. So most people refer to it as your energetic blueprint, but even that sounds a little bit confusing. So I like to think of it more as our energetic body, like how we have our physical body with our organs and our bones and all that stuff. And we have anatomy as the science of that, that shows us what all the things are, where they go, how they work, and also what to do if they're not working as they should. So human design is kind of like the anatomy of our energetic body. It shows us what these different energy points are, what our specific layout looks like, and then how to use these different aspects of our human design, of our energy, in order to have the most flowy, non-resistant life.
Okay, so give me a real world example. I'm a manifesting generator.
Mhm.
I don't know that much about it. So how would that play into my branding?
Yeah. So manifesting generators, the biggest thing that I like to look at first is, do you have a defined sacral center or do you have an undefined sacral center? And so what that means in a nutshell is you have 9 different energy centers and they're very reminiscent of the chakras. And so with a sacral center, the sacral center is where all of your like life force energy resides. It's where your physical energy is. It's where your go, 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 do comes from. So manifesting generators and generators have that area defined, which means you have consistent access to that energy. So you can show up and like be chipper all day long. You can manage a lot of tasks. You said you're multi-passionate. That is so aligned with being a manifesting generator. And so that's important because you know that you can handle a lot in your schedule during the day. And like you can show up for your first task at 9 a.m. with the same energy that you'll show up for your task at 4 p.m. But then some of the other types have an undefined sacral, which means we don't have access to that go, go, go energy. And we have to be a lot more careful with our schedule, with, maybe scheduling like our really creative work or our heavy work for a time where we know we'll feel full of energy. And so for you specifically as a manifesting generator, that means like if you feel called to show up on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, you have the capacity to do that. And that's wise and that's aligned with your design. So that's the place where I would always start, is looking at your design and how you can use that in accordance with modern day strategies.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what I'm hearing you say is you might go to a client, and if they're feeling really scattered because they have to make a TikTok and they have to make a Facebook and they're trying to do all these things, and then you find out that they're not guided by their sacral energy, then you
Mhm.
can help them see that they might be better focusing on one. Is that
Yes.
kind of what you're saying?
Exactly, exactly. So, online, there's a lot of different methods that are out there, and it just might not be the right method for you if you're not finding success with it, or if it doesn't feel good, if it feels icky, or it just doesn't feel fun. It could be very well because it's not aligned with how your energy is designed to function.
That's great. So people who maybe feel like they're not quite finding their path with all of this self-promotion and marketing could really benefit from
Exactly.
with you.
Exactly right. Because the whole point of human design is to have the least resistant life possible, meaning like you truly are doing things that you love. You are creating things that you feel like your soul is calling you to create. You're not just trying to keep up with people just for the sake of it. You're not going through the motions just to do them. You feel very connected to your purpose in life.
I remember one thing really standing out to me when I was learning about human design for myself, which was this concept that I work best when I respond.
Mm-hmm.
Like when
Yeah.
someone asks me a question or asks me to do something, and that was really kind of an epiphany for me,
Mhm.
because it is true. As soon as someone sets me off in a direction, I'm off and running, but I don't often pay attention to details.
Mhm.
So I really need to work alongside someone who kind of will go, hey, what about this? And then all of a sudden I'm totally into it, making it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's awesome about human design is you can pull your chart, and if any of the listeners want to pull their chart, they can just go and Google free human design chart. And then it's determined by your birthday, time, and place. And so it's not like a personality test where it's based on answers, it's based on your birth data. And so when you first look at that, just simply knowing your human design type, like you just said, is so revealing, and it's the highest level of human design because that it then determines your strategy, your human design strategy. But you can take it so deep and go so deep down the rabbit hole and find value from each level of it. But if parts of it don't resonate with you, you can leave that part. You don't have to master the whole system in order to find value from it and to actually, feel better in life, feel like more flow.
What would you say is the most profound transformation or epiphany or benefit that you've seen from working with human design?
That's a great question. I would say the first one would be the strategy. So that's what you just said. Your strategy is to wait to respond. I'm a projector, which means mine is to wait for the invitation. So, like how you invited me to this podcast. And I spent most of my life being very forceful. I was like kind of like the Kool-Aid man, like bursting into doors, into walls, and like finding resistance, like barging my way into places that I wasn't necessarily invited into. And then the people didn't want me there. And so I would like have this pride driven by ego, like I did it, I got in, but then I wasn't really welcomed. But now I like kind of just do my thing and sit back and wait for the invitations. And then I'm actually welcomed to where I'm invited. So that's the strategy part. And so depending on your type, you'll have a different strategy. But the next most profound thing is the authority. So your authority in human design is your inner guidance. It's your inner decision making mechanism. And when you follow it, it's right 100% of the time. But the thing with your authority is it completely resides in your body. So it's going to show up as a feeling, as like an actual physical sensation. And the mind most often does not agree because your mind is plagued with doubts. It's plagued with fear, with limiting beliefs. It doesn't know everything. And so that it's a really hard shift to make, going from making decisions with your brain and letting your actual authority guide you. But when you do, even though it's scary, you know that you're moving forward in the direction that you're supposed to be.
So now I'm seeing this in your story. You said that you were doing your own thing, making these websites and these businesses. And then it was when someone invited you to make their website.
Yeah.
all opened
Yeah.
up for you.
Yeah.
Pretty cool to know about yourself.
Yeah. It's really interesting. And that's one of the most fun parts of discovering your design is looking back on your own story and being like, oh, that's why that didn't work. Or, oh, that's why that did work. And then you have that evidence to, keep leveraging that and to do more of what was working. And then to kind of it's called deconditioning. So letting all that stuff that we were trying to force and make happen, kind of letting that go and being okay with that.
Yeah. What I love about these different frameworks that you can get into, because I'm also very interested in the Gallup Strength Finder test.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at something like human design, looking at something like the Gallup Strengths, of course, your astrology, there's so many frameworks, is it allows you to fall in love with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
accept yourself for who you are, which is such a culture shift that I feel like we're going through in this generation. It used to be like, be better, improve, which certainly it's good to improve in areas. But I think we first have to have that foundation of, this is why I'm amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have to pretend to be anyone else or suffer imposter syndrome. If I can just lean into my strengths and who I am, things are going to go so much easier. And then there's this whole component of, and then I surround myself with people who are strong in my weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
And you can make total magic happen, I think.
Yes. And I love that. And it's so good to see like we're all designed differently and we're supposed to be, because we all have a role to play and we all go together, but we're not all the same. And that's not just okay, it's good. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is something that you're feeling really excited about in your business right now?
Yeah. I am feeling excited that I'm finally understanding I don't, I'm not designed to necessarily do more. And so I've been diving into like systems, like automated systems to help my business not just sustain itself, but to grow without me having to like physically be there. And so that's really fun because I get to create things that I want and have that space to also live. So I'm finding that work life balance and not just saying it and not just like not working but still thinking about work, but truly being present when I'm not working, because I know that I've like leveraged my own strengths and design to work for me when I'm not there.
It's such a skill that needs to be learned as an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. And just yesterday, I sat down to write a bunch of emails. And I have a whole list of emails I need to write. And I got a lot done. And then I had this moment where I went, you're done for the day.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to fight another part of my brain that wants to just keep going until I totally burn out. I'm understanding that probably has a little bit to do with the sacral led manifesting generator. But I was
Yeah.
really proud of myself because I went, you're done for the day. You like clock off, like you can go home, and we're our boss, our own boss. So we have to be the ones that set that. Otherwise, when you love your business and it's vision led, you will work in it 24 hours a day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's amazing that that happened and that you didn't give in to the part of your brain that wanted to keep going. Especially it sounded like you were doing work that you love, which you are designed to do that. You're designed to engage in the things that light you up. But knowing when enough is enough is also a big part of following your design, because even those of you with a defined sacral, you can't just go forever. So you're designed to fully empty your battery, go to sleep, and then wake up with a recharged one. So it sounded like you knew exactly when your battery was empty.
I'm learning. I have been a workaholic in my life, and I'm finding the balance between loving my ability to produce and go, but also honoring that, yes, I have to rest and there's play that can happen. It really helps having two toddlers.
Yeah.
So I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and they definitely remind me like it's time to go play.
Yeah.
And so I'm so grateful,
Yeah.
grateful to them. Okay, so tell us, if somebody is feeling like they want to connect with you, they want to learn more, what is the best way for them to reach out and get connected?
Yeah, my website is SaturdayDesigns.com. And I also have a free branding by human design guide. So if you want to start playing with your own design to use that in your business, then that's a great place to start. So that is SaturdayDesigns.com/branding.
Fabulous. And I will put all of this in the show notes, including where you can take the human design test and other ways that you can connect with Kelsey and myself. So if you've been listening to the podcast and you thought of someone who could benefit from hearing this episode, please share it. We love your 5-star ratings on podcast, and we love getting the word out. My mission is to create a community of vision-led entrepreneurs who want to increase their health, their wellness, so that they can live in line with their true purpose. Kelsey, it's been such a pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much. Do you have any parting words for us?
You are so beautifully designed. You are perfect exactly the way you are.
Yes, take that in. Absolutely. Okay, everybody, we will talk to you next time. Have a great day. Thanks, Kelsey.
Thank you. Bye.